We are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hacks Chats. I'm your host, Art Bear. I have been working in the comics industry for over 30 years now for companies Marvel, DC, Image Comics. I've worked on characters like Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, X-Men, mostly X-Men. Most people know me from that. And so I think I'm just going to take this moment and introduce Taylor. Taylor, say
Hi,
hi.
hi everybody. I'll be reading your chat today, so feel free to join in on the conversation. I will speak for you.
Yes, she loves that. And so we have a very special guest with us, and it is Pixel Trader. He does have a real name. They gave him a real name at birth, but he goes by Pixel Trader because he's sneaking around the internet. You never know what Pixel Trader is going to be doing next. So, hey, Pixel Trader, what do you have to say?
Hey there. So yeah, I am Pixel Trader. As you said, my parents gave me a real name. It'll eventually come out at some point, especially when I have a product to do. But at this point, I figured, I'll stay under the radar a little bit, be this ninja samurai guy for a while, and roll with that until I decide to pull the mask off, I guess.
Well,
Yeah,
to
whenever
us,
you talk, I picture that exact dude.
Oh
yeah.
man, so that's going to be the really disappointing part because actually, so there is a photo of me online. If anybody wants to look it up, they can totally see me online. I'm a little embarrassed because I've gained a bit of weight lately, so I need to lose that. But there's one photo of me with Mike at Comic Con. So if you want to go all the way back to like June or July, you can see a picture of me and Mike at Comic Con.
That's awesome. Yeah, and if you guys don't know, what Pixel Trader does for a lot of the Gate books and the indie publishing guys is he has Indiecron, and he helps people like ourselves with promoting our book, getting the word out, and he's just I don't know, like this whole thing when we came into Comics Gate just a few months ago. This community is amazing and so giving and so generous with their time and so supportive. I, I've been doing this for 30 years. I've never seen anything like this to this kind of generosity because a lot of these people, Pixel is one of them, they're doing this because they love comics. They're just doing it because they want to support these books. And they don't really get anything more out of it. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to have Pixel on, so we could publicly thank him and to tell him, well, basically just thank him for the amazing work that he does for all these indie books. So thank you very much,
Oh
Pixel.
Yeah, Pixel, thanks. You're a
no,
big
thank
part of
you.
the community.
Yeah. And he has his own show as well. Do you want to just kind of plug the show real quick?
Sure. So I have my own channel and I do some stuff there. I've actually started doing less lately, but I am still part of a couple different communities. There's two shows in particular I'd really like to plug. The first one is Fan Speak, which
Love
is
fan speak.
it was an awesome show. We had you guys on there, I think about 2 weeks ago.
That was a blast. I wish we could have spent more time on there.
You guys are always welcome to come back too, definitely. So Fan Speak, in case nobody knows about it, is a show run by actually most of us are moderators for the other channels. And so we all, constantly interact with the community and stuff. And we finally said, we need a bigger voice. And so we started a show where we talk about the topics of the day, some of the bigger stories that are going on. And we try to get creators like yourselves to come in and promote their book, talk about what interests them. And we do it weekly on Friday nights at, was it 5 p.m. Eastern? I believe it's the time. Denali, you'll be able to tell me. He's out in the chat right now. And then the other show that I take part in is called Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition, which you happen to be on the pro show pretty regularly and have actually won with your Rogue. What we do with that is we have a gathering of fan artists. One thing some people get kind of confused is we're a fan of the show. It's not necessarily that we're all fans, like amateur artists, because we do have people that are professionals or aspiring professionals coming in that are probably higher level than a fan. But we have a wide variety of artists that come in and basically do the same thing as the Drawn and Quartered show. So tonight, for instance, 7 p.m. Pacific time on Jake Campbell's channel, we're going to be doing the next version of our show. And everybody's going to be drawing Freddy Krueger just like you guys did last night.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
cool. Oh, wow. Hive mind.
Yeah, you draw on the show too, right?
I drew on the first one. I haven't really been drawing on the other shows yet. So the main concept for the show that I had was the community is small. We're all trying to grow our channels. And so what I really wanted to do was make the show kind of like a traveling circus kind of thing. So it started on my channel. It went over to Cross Comics, then over to Chester Busby. Now it's going to be on Jake's channel, and it's going to migrate between channels to get each channel a little bit of exposure and hopefully get them some more subs while in that process. And then also the cast of people that come in and draw rotates through. So this week, I think we have 6 new artists on the panel.
Ooh, cool. Do you think Mike would kill me if we had one of your, like I could be part of your circus and we can do one on my YouTube?
No, I think that would be really cool if you want to do that.
That would be cool.
I'm looking for a host for next week, I believe, actually. So if you're interested, we could definitely do it over here.
Yeah, let's talk. I think Mike would kill me though.
Well, I mean, it is on a Wednesday night, not a Tuesday, so there's no conflict technically.
Yeah, maybe we should just like throw us like a little bit of a different twist to it. Like we all. I don't know, we're drinking our favorite beverage or something, or we're eating a certain thing. I don't know.
You don't want to eat on camera though.
Yeah.
That's always weird.
But I'm thinking like, like how they had the drinking draws, like something like that, where you have some kind of spin, like we do something different than the other guys.
Yeah, definitely. There's been a couple other shows that have propped up. I don't know if you know Jeff Lafferty, who did Berserkernaut. He's got a little thing that he does on Thursday nights that is kind of similar, but it's like an amalgam of characters. So they take 2 concepts, mash them together, and then they have about 2 hours to draw.
Oh, I've seen.
Oh, that's cool. I've seen people do artwork like that. That's a cool concept for a show.
Yeah. So I did one while I was watching the show with them, and where they did Lobo and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Lobo with the half shell.
Exactly.
Lobo on a half shell. Oh, very cool. So, how long have you been drawing?
I've been drawing since I'm a kid. Hopefully that noise outside isn't too bad. The yard guys decided to show up and start doing stuff right as we get on the call. But I've been drawing since I was a teenager. Actually, before that, I was doing little doodles and stuff, but I really started taking comic book art pretty seriously towards middle school. And from that point, I started collecting books. Actually, are you familiar with Jim Williams? J.H. Williams III?
J.H. Williams, yeah.
Yeah. So he's actually from a city just north of where I grew up. He's from Merced, California.
Okay.
And there was a local comic book shop there named Coppa Comic, which is no longer in business, unfortunately. But it was really, really cool. He would take local artists in and talk to them, talk about their portfolio. And man, that's loud. Sorry. Anyway. Would review their portfolio and give them pointers and stuff on how to improve throughout the time that they were working on their things.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I would go up to Merced and meet with him and a few other artists, and this was mostly when I was in high school, and I got a ton of tips about how to improve and various things from him. But it wasn't too long after that I wound up moving away, and so I didn't look to see him too much. And then he just blew up because at that point he had just started Chase. That detective book that he'd introduced the character in Batman and then broke it out into a solo series.
That's the woman, Chase No, not Chase Meridian. Who's Chase?
I can't remember her last name, but she was a blonde kind of detective cop character that interacted with Batman. And
was Chase Meridian? Was that like the Shrink in one of the Batman movies? Is that where I'm getting that name from? Chase.
I don't know. That name sounds really familiar to me, though.
I know.
I'm looking it up right now.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, that's Nicole. That's Nicole Kidman's character.
Yeah.
So Batman Forever. Yeah.
So that's not the same.
Cameron Chase.
Cameron Chase. There you go. Yeah.
First appeared in Batman 550. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That was his claim to fame. So did he mentor you for that short period of time, or?
I would hate to go so far as to say he mentored me. I mean, in my personal circles, when I'm kind of making the story bigger than I want it to be, yeah, he totally took me under his wing and was showing me everything. But really, no, he was just one of those cool guys that, similar to you, where you sit down and talk to people and give them pointers and try to help them improve. That's basically the same thing. He was just trying to give back to the community of people that were in the area that he grew up in, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. So are you working on any of your own projects at this point?
So I've got a few projects I've been developing over the years. A couple of them I think have potential, but I created a character when I was in high school, and he was this like warrior pulled through time kind of thing, a total cliche. Winds up in New York City, has no memory of anything, and gets attacked by the cops and runs around and just causes chaos.
Sold.
Yeah, exactly. Well, for teenage me, that was awesome, and that was the '90s, and so you're going, wow, this is great. But when you step back and look at it, it just had no story, and so that's my weakness. I can't write to save my life, but now I've kind of taken that character concept and looked at a few different ways to change it up, and we can talk about a few of those if you want to later. But one of the ones I'm really looking at right now is a story about a guy that comes into contact with a suit that's sentient. The people that developed it didn't realize it was sentient yet, but he's a criminal, and the suit won't let him commit crimes. So he's got this whole thing going on where he wants to be a criminal. It was his whole life up until this point, but now he's got this thing stopping him, and so he's got to change his life. He's got that inner conflict. He's got people around him, coming into conflict with him, but he has to be a hero.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, what's interesting about that is, how they always play upon is machine, is tech, is science, is there morality? Do robots have morality? Do these artificial, AIs have morality? So you're literally saying that the more moral character in your story is the suit.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
It's kind of that black and white kind of mentality there.
I like it. Let's do it.
It's a cool concept. I think it could go really well if it's done right. I just know I can't write it. So the Dr. Wright, who's in the community, I've been talking to him a little bit about it. Actually, today I just bounced it off of him, and he's kind of interested in it. So we're going to see. Maybe it'll go somewhere. Yeah,
that's also what's pretty amazing about the community is that there's a lot of cross-pollination happening right now. So what you're seeing happening at this point are people like me from the outside coming in and bringing things, but there's also things that are going to be created within the community itself that's going to kind of organically happen and then come up and be for sale. So that's going to be interesting as well. So just things that are created, as we're watching it, like people like you meeting up with other people in the community and then just organically coming up with new projects and new properties.
Oh yeah, in the community in general, when they talk to each other, you can just see the gears turning. Various artists start bouncing ideas off each other. You pull a couple of writers into the mix, and pretty soon you've got 3, 4, 5 concepts that you didn't even think about.
Yeah,
and, it's pretty cool. Sierra Whiskey, one of the guys that shows up in a lot of the chats and stuff.
Good guy.
Yeah, really awesome guy. Him and I were talking about a bunch of stuff, and he bounced something off me that sounds hilarious. He's got this book about raccoons. I don't know if you noticed his avatar.
The raccoon, yeah.
Wait a minute. Was he on somebody's thread talking about this? Was it last night? I remember something about raccoons.
Raccoon Rampage or something like that. Yeah. So I think that he did something like a super chat on Mike's channel about it. But it sounds awesome. But I don't want to give anything away. I'll let him do that. But I'm just putting it out there that he's got this funny concept. He just needs to pull an artist into it and have fun with it.
That's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. So what do you do when you're not, helping people like us out and drawing and writing your own books?
So when I was in high school, I thought for sure I was going to be a comic book artist. That was my thing. I was going for it. And then the internet happened, like in a big way. And the whole .com rise kind of blew up and everything. And I found myself kind of in the middle of it where I wanted to build my own website. Suddenly I was building websites for me, for my friends, for businesses I knew. I went from that to getting a job at a startup in Dallas, Texas. And so I was there for like 3 years at a startup that imploded, unfortunately, but I got a ton of experience there. And through that process, I just learned. Like everything I did, it was just a constant self-learning experience. And I wound up settling in San Diego. And so now, through various different jobs that I've done, web developing, software development, things like that, I landed where I am today. And I am a I'm a software engineer that basically tests all kinds of different stuff, but I write code that automates a lot of stuff.
Okay, so is it like a 9 to 5, or are you working freelance, or how does that work?
It's a 9 to 5, usually because it's a tech industry. Excuse me, sorry. It's the tech industry, so it never goes 9 to 5. It's usually a little bit later, a little bit earlier all the time. But yeah, I've been with them for 7-8 years now, and
very good.
solid job. But I basically write code that tries to break websites, or tries to break our services. And
so wait. So I got to get you after you make the point of the whole YouTube going down yesterday. But go ahead.
Oh,
finish your thought.
Yeah. So I don't do evil stuff with my code, but I definitely look for ways that I can break our company's code. And what I'm doing is I'm QA for the most part. I go through and I check to see is everything that we think is supposed to work the right way working the right way. Once I'm done with that, the code then goes, okay, now let's do some bad stuff and see if it handles it properly.
So on a somewhat regular basis, you have to think like an evil villain.
Pretty much, yeah. Exactly. So I got to think a little bit outside the box and try to figure out, okay, if I were to change this, like an image file, for instance, if I were to go in and maybe change a couple of the characters in it so it's a bad image now, can I still upload it to the site? Can I do this? Can I do that? And yeah, if I can break something, great. Then I send it off for a report and say, hey, I broke it. You fix it.
Do you remember that TV series called Pretender?
That sounds really familiar. Is that where the guy like comes in and he assumes a job and like has to do different stuff? Man.
Yeah, he's kind of like somebody. The setup is like what you're talking about. So he used to work for this company that was called The Center. That's pretty generic, I know.
But ominous.
Yeah, and so what they would do is it was kind of a pseudo-government agency, and they would get these people that could basically pretend. It's like profiling. They could be that person, and then they could give you every detail and every aspect of whatever it was that was going to happen. So like, let's just say they were trying to figure out who really shot JFK. He could reconstruct everything in his head and figure out where the gunman was, where the grassy knoll, like he could do all these things. And then some of the things that he does is break code and do similar things that you're talking about. And then what he finds out is that the center was selling those that information to do bad things, because he was under the guise like you that you're doing good, but they were selling it to people that were doing bad with the information. So he breaks away from the center. And so so then basically he uses his pretender skills to infiltrate and help people. So he pretends to be people and then goes in and then kind of defeats the villain from the inside. So let's say it's a surgeon that's doing questionable procedures. He would then pretend to be a surgeon and go in there and befriend that person and then expose them and help out whoever was being, hurt by that surgeon.
Oh, wow.
So you gotta watch out, man. Maybe your stuff is gonna be used for evil and nefarious.
Oh man, that would be terrible.
It would be a cool story, though. Yeah,
it is pretty funny. Now I got to go check my my aura and make sure I'm not like glowing red for some reason. I didn't know.
What'd be awesome is if like you bring those ideas into your suit idea, where maybe the suit came from a place like that, and that the suit would help them become like infiltrate and become other people. Like there was knowledge in the suit. I don't know. I'm writing your story for you, but
you guys are collabing. It's working.
We're kind of on the same vibe though, because that's kind of similar to what it was. The company was developing an AI. They didn't realize that it had become sentient yet. They just thought they had a pretty smart computer on their hands, but they were developing a weapon. And it doesn't necessarily want to be a weapon. It just wants to be able to do good in the world. And, whatever it needs to do that. But when it sees this opportunity where it can get out, it went for it. And it didn't know that the guy was a criminal. So they have kind of this unique bond where it's, a super, super good entity that's kind of trusting, but definitely has that must be good, must be bad kind of delineation. There's no gray area there. And this guy like wants to kind of manipulate it and do what he has to. So there's a whole lot of fun that can be had with that concept.
That sounds great. There's a whole duality Jekyll and Hyde thing that's happening. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Except
Yes.
for the suit that you'd expect to be evil is the good one.
It's the good one, yeah.
And that's what I really like about it too. Yeah, you know, all the time the computer's the bad guy. The computer's the bad guy. Well, maybe the computer can be the good guy this time.
Yeah. I think the reason I was saying that is because then you could actually bring your real life, like some of your coding and things that you're doing into the story. Because it always helps too if you can bring some of your true life adventures or things that have happened to you, experiences that you can bring into your characters and your stories.
Yeah, that's true. And to kind of lead into that too, what we were talking about with YouTube. So the thing that happened last night, which I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but from what I've been reading, it was a consolidated attack. It was like a bunch of different countries had bots and different servers and went to the United States to attack it. So there's like traffic maps and stuff all over the internet right now showing the U.S. getting hammered.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so there was a hacker group, which I cannot remember the name of them. Something Ghost, I think was the name of them. They were claiming responsibility for it this morning, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. But the company I work for actually has a whole security division that tracks this kind of stuff. About a year ago, they got hit with a huge attack, and we mitigated it. They weren't able to get us to go down. And so we're all kind of sitting here looking at YouTube getting nailed. And it's really bad to look at something like that and go, you know, if they were on our network, it probably would have been okay.
Oh, man.
But you never know. I mean, that was a pretty sizable attack they took yesterday.
Well, it's so weird that I was just talking to my wife about this morning, that these are acts of terrorism, and people are so desensitized to this stuff now, they don't even realize this could be a pretty major attack. Like, right? I mean, this is pretty sizable.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is people take services for granted now. The internet is so big and so integrated into people's lives. You saw how many people freaked out yesterday. If you looked at Twitter, it was just a wall of people. Oh my God, you know, YouTube's
Facebook
down,
too.
down. Yeah, everybody was just freaking out. If a large enough attack hits, you know, I hate to be this doom and gloom kind of guy, but being inside this industry and looking at this stuff, all of the Internet of Things devices that are coming out of China and various other countries, even here in the States, if they're not protected correctly, you've got, you know, your watch that can connect to the internet. You've got your refrigerator, your toaster, various things like that. Those all have software that connect to the internet. And if they're connected to the internet, there's ways to get to them. And if there's a way to get to them, there's a way to break them and utilize them in nefarious ways. And so all those devices that you've got out there, a lot of them can be turned and used as weapons against websites. And so it's only a matter of time before bigger attacks happen.
The machines are rising.
Yep. And I mean, they're controlled by men at this point, but you know, you never know. Maybe your toaster will become sentient and decide, I don't want to toast anything anymore, and recruit your refrigerator and attacking your car. Yeah.
I just want to sell all your information to somebody in another country.
Why did I put my credit card inside of the fridge?
Exactly.
Why did I put my credit card in the toaster?
Oh man.
Yeah, the toaster will have some kind of scanning device that you have to. I mean, it's just a question of time, right? Before we're all branded with some kind of code, right? And then we'll just have that as our own personal, like social security number, and we'll use that to basically buy things and to activate our computers and everything else, right? I mean, is that kind of where things are going?
You look at NFC technology, which is used for a lot of things. I don't know if you use your phone to pay for anything right now. Like I go to the grocery store, I use my phone to pay for my groceries. I use it at 7-Eleven to pay for my drinks and stuff. I don't even pull my wallet out of my pocket anymore, for the most part.
Well, I'll tell you, Pixel, I am absolutely paranoid about all of this stuff. I don't really make any purchases, and I don't do any important banking through the internet at all. I mean, I still do direct deposit. We go to the bank. We deal one-on-one, and I try to do as much cash and carry, just because I don't like people trailing me, like seeing what my spending habits are, just monitoring me. So the more I can do, just in a, I guess, old school tactile way, the better I like it. So I do realize the world is changing, and so we do use PayPal a lot, and so I do a lot of transactions, you know, selling my work, and even like you know, Indiegogo and Kickstarter. So there is commerce through the internet, but the only banking information is just the information I had to give them, to set up the accounts.
Right. I don't worry about it too much. I've had my credit card stolen before by somebody using the swiper, actually a couple times. The only thing I tell people is you're never 100% secure, but there are things you can do, obviously, to protect yourself. Not using your same password on every site is a huge one. Because like if you have the same password in your email as, say, your bank, for instance, somebody that breaks into your email can look through your email and say, oh, Art has a Bank of America account. Let me go to Bank of America real quick. Types in your email address and your password. Hey, I got access to Art's bank account now. And then the authentication email, usually it's like, hey, we noticed the browser went to this that we don't recognize. They send you an email saying, hey, are you Art? But the person has access to your email. So they can say, yeah, I'm Art. And now they're in. So, using different passwords everywhere, and then never, ever, ever use your bank card. Only use it in your ATM machine, because your banks will hold your money when sometimes they're cooler about it now, but they used to hold your money. Like if somebody got a hold of your credit card and your bank card and spent a bunch of money on it, it took money directly out of your bank account. It takes a while to do the investigation and refund that money. Credit cards, on the other hand, they're cooler about it. They're like, oh, we'll go do our investigation, and they take that off your account. So I don't do anything with my bank card. Credit cards.
Well, what do you mean by your bank card? Like your debit card or your ATM
your ATM debit card. I don't buy anything with that. And the other thing too is you got to play the system. So like I've got maybe 6 different credit cards right now because I go through. I've got zero balance on all of them, but I pay for everything with credit cards because you're earning points all the time. So I'll go get a card that's got a really good points system in it. Say you got to spend like $3,000 in 3 months to get a credit or to get their bonus points. So I'll go do that. And then, pay it all off every month, but I don't have to worry about my bank account having any issues or anything. I'm also earning points at the same time that I can go for free flights or whatever. And it's just a better way of doing it. Play the system instead of having it play you.
Yeah, I had a credit card for over 30 years. I had a line of credit that was like 100,000 or something. It was a lot of money. And I would do exactly what you said, where I would use it, pay it off every month, use it, pay it off every month. And so then they canceled me after like 30 years. And then I was like, why? And they said, because basically we're not making any money off of you. And I was like, wait a minute. So, this is, I guess it's actually what they want you to do is they want you to become a slave to
basically,
the credit. And it just wasn't working. So they were just like, let's get rid of Art.
Aww.
Yeah. It was a huge line of credit too. I mean, that takes years and years and years to build up something like that. And I just always like the satisfaction of if something really, really bad happened, I had a pretty good, amount of money there that I could pull from. And I think the credit, what do they call that? The charge, the interest rate was pretty low for a credit card. So, I kind of missed it, but it's like, well, if you want to play it that way, then, there's plenty of other credit companies that will work with me. So I'll do that.
Yeah.
So let's go to Indiecron. Oh, do you have a question, Taylor?
Oh, I was just going to ask while we're talking about internet safety and stuff. Pixel, how did you end up with the name Pixel Traitor as your username?
Sure. So it's kind of got a couple things to it. So a buddy of mine, this is back in like 2007, 2008. His brother got the name Pixel Traitor, Trader. And the first time I heard him say it, I thought he said traitor. And since I've been a digital artist and I'm also a regular artist, analog, I kind of thought it was kind of funny because if you're drawing normally and stuff, you're kind of betraying the pixels because you're not drawing digitally. And so I just thought that was kind of a cool name. And I didn't use it for a long time. Excuse me. And then all of a sudden I was like, I kind of want to use that again. And so I pulled it up. But yeah, it was based on me mishearing the name that was previously used, but I liked the way it sounded, so I snagged it. No major story behind it, but I try to kind of build up the story behind it later.
I always like hearing people's stories behind their usernames because a lot of people have had the same username for like years, and there's like a story from a long time ago involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got another one that I used for a long time that I'm not going to say right now. I can talk to you guys about it offline. But it had a pretty strong story behind it. But this one's a little bit different. I really like the whole idea of betraying pixels by drawing with pen and ink. Yes, Indiecron. So this is a cool site. I've been working on a new version of it for quite a while now. It's still not ready, unfortunately. It's got some bugs I need to work out and some kinks.
Well, this is version 2, right? Because it.
Yeah. So okay, version 1 of the site. I call it version 2 because it's an upgrade. So the way this whole thing started was, I don't know if you guys remember. It may have been before you joined up with the whole Comicsgate movement, but Edwin Boyette and John Delarose both had a spreadsheet, like a Google spreadsheet that they would update on a pretty regular basis, and it was hosted over on John's website. And I would go over there and look at the numbers sometimes, and because it was something that had to be maintained on a regular basis, they had to go in, every single time and update those numbers. That meant they had to go to each campaign, update the numbers, load up the page for the next one, load those numbers in, and do all of that. And it was just a tedious process for them. So, gosh, let's see. I'm trying to remember how this all came about. Okay. So the first thing that happened was Mike Miller was talking about his campaign and how he was doing all this stuff, and he had LoneStarComic.com, and Lone Star Comic wound up having issues, and his ISP took a dive like right in the middle of his campaign while he was doing a bunch of pushing, and so I helped him get his website up. And no, I'm sorry, this goes back even further than that. My brain is shot today.
What website is it? Are you talking about the Indiegogo site or just
actually no, this was his other domain. I'm sorry, I'm getting my stories confused though. The other thing was, what is Comicsgate? Do you remember? He's got this. Well, there is that website now. Whatiscomicsgate.com.
Yeah.
I'm the one that set that up, and I set that up because John had a article that was written by Mike on John's website that had the whole spiel that's currently on whatiscomicsgate.com. And he could never remember the URL to it. He's like, always got, I got to go to John's website and find it, and then I'll post it in chat. And I'm like, well, we asked the question, what is Comicsgate? Maybe we should put that out online somewhere. And so I did a quick search for whatiscomicsgate.com, and it was available. I'm like, okay, good, let's go get it. So I got it, I took it, set it up. It took me about an hour and a half, and I put that website online, and it hasn't changed really since. But as I was there, I was looking around it, and I stumbled upon that Indiecron spreadsheet. And as I got more information about it, I just go, man, this isn't going to be maintainable. Now, those numbers are changing minutes at a time. Sometimes when a campaign's really blowing up, it's changing every second. There's just no way to keep up with that. And with my automation background, I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And so I took their concept. I asked John if I could run with it a little bit. And I go, can you give me access to that spreadsheet so I can see how it works? And there was just a couple little calculations in it. And then I ran off and did my own thing with it. And this is what happened. So there is a main website that you can see right here. That's got all these numbers and everything in it. There's a database that controls all of this. But the secret sauce, as it is a server away from this website that actually communicates to it, says, okay, what campaigns are currently listed in Indiecron? It gets that information, gets the links to their campaigns, and then goes to Indiegogo and actually pulls all that information.
Wow.
So every 10 minutes, a server that I have runs over here and says, okay, who do I need to get new numbers for? Goes to each campaign page, loads it right into Indiecron. So there is no manual updating happening here. The only time a manual update happens is if a campaign wants to change who their creators are, maybe wants to update the genre, or just even wants to get added to this list.
I just saw it glitch. Did that mean it was updating?
It'll refresh about every 3 minutes.
Yeah, because it just kind of glitched just as I was watching it. Like it just kind of moves a little bit. So
yeah, it was refresh. Yeah, it refreshes the page every 3 minutes.
Wow, that's really cool. So it kind of maintains itself.
Yeah, so somebody could actually come in here, and really I probably need to change that because I got I don't know if you've ever heard of the Reddit hug of death, but whenever something gets posted on Reddit, if the server isn't really ready for it, a lot of times the amount of traffic from Reddit will crash the server. And that happened to me.
Oh, man.
I wasn't ready for it after it got picked up. And so what I did is I changed some code. It updates physically about every 10 minutes now on the website itself. And so that refresh, I probably need to go ahead and set up to be about a 10-minute refresh. But yeah, so every 10 minutes, new data gets in here. If you want to get the latest numbers for a campaign, you have to go in and really look at the Indiegogo page. But if you just want an overall feel for how everything's going on about a 10-minute basis, Indiecron's the way to go.
Yeah, you can just see them at a glance. This is really cool. I had no idea that there were that many books. This is a lot of books.
How do they do people contact you to be listed on there, or do you usually find them?
So it's a combination. Sometimes I'll see one that hasn't reached out to me yet. I have an Indiecron Twitter account set up. I ask that anybody that wants to be posted on here has to go to the Indiecron site or go to the Indiecron Twitter account. And the reason I do that is because I have a little, it's basically a form, but it's just a bunch of text I paste to them that has the guidelines for being posted on our site. And the guidelines are pretty basic. Actually, let me go find it real quick and I'll read it to you.
Hey, Taylor, we're only 7 backers away from 500 backers.
Do you hear that, everyone? We're so close.
According to Indiecron.
Which may be 10 minutes out, but you never know.
Thanks, Indiecron.
You're so helpful.
Okay, so if somebody wants to be posted to Indiecron, I tell them a couple things. And the first thing is, you're going to be listed on this site with a bunch of other creators that have said they're either friendly with or are part of Comicsgate. And I want them to understand that, because the whole connotation that comes with that is if you're posted here, you're either friends with us or you are one of us. And when the SJW side of things and the people that don't like who we are get a hold of that information, they want to lump you in with us.
And you don't want to out somebody that...
I don't want to hurt somebody that doesn't want to get hurt.
Exactly. Right.
Or doesn't understand the risks that go in with this. And I've had...
Well, the whole reason I'm here, Pixel, is because I like to get hurt. I love it. It's my favorite thing.
Awesome. Well, there have been a couple campaigns that after I've talked to them about this have said, thank you for being so upfront with us. We'd prefer to stay neutral right now.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. And then the other thing I say is indie comics are a great opportunity for creators and fans. However, you need to treat the fans right. So if somebody is listed on this list and they start talking trash to fans and start acting poorly in the community, I will pull them from Indiecron. We don't want that in the community. And so that's something that they get told. So they have to uphold that certain level of decorum with backers, and they have to commit to fulfilling their campaign. I don't want somebody coming in here with 10K as a goal, hit that and just disappear. I can't do anything to them, but I can prevent them from being on here again.
Yeah.
And then the other little pieces of information, I just asked them, who are your creators? What genres are you in? And then lately I've been asking for a rating, like what they think their anticipated rating would be, like a PG, PG-13, rated R, some kind of thing like that. That way, when the next version of the site comes out and I have that rating system in place, people can actually see, oh, this site says that they're PG-13, or these guys say that they're kid appropriate. So I'm trying to build that extra functionality into the site in the future revisions.
Which is updated.
Are you the only one that's behind the site? Do you have other people helping you?
Currently, I'm pretty much the only one behind it, yeah. I've got a couple of people I bounce stuff off of from time to time, but I say we a lot because I try to present the site as larger than it really is. But ultimately, it's me and a automated robot server sitting over here next to me at the moment.
The suit that you're in right now?
The suit I'm in right now, exactly. It just wants to do good for the community.
I just want Pixel Traitor to do well. Your suit is called Indiecron.
Oh, there we go.
Pixel and Indiecron. That should be the story of your book. Pixel and Indiecron, The Adventures of One.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, there's an opportunity there. We'll see. But
this is really kick, you know what? But this is so cool.
You just did this. Like, it's cool that you just kind of did this to help everybody.
I don't know if you're getting a thrill out of this, Taylor, but it's neat to see your book along with other books. It's kind of like it legitimizes you. Like, look at all these names and stuff and all these numbers, and you're on a list with these guys. It's pretty awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing, too. And people want to see how they're doing. They want to see how their books are doing. But the other thing, too, I think this actually works as a good resource for the other creators, too, because they can come in and say, okay, what do I need to target for my goal? You'll notice that some of the higher end guys, even they only targeted like 8 8,000, 5,000, 10,000 for their higher end campaigns. Some of them, the ones down at the bottom didn't really get the memo, and they're asking for like 15. Actually, I think some of them actually got pulled. That's the other thing too. If the campaign doesn't fund, I don't leave them up there. There's no reason to leave dead bodies in the in the way here. So I pull them down and give them a proper burial until they want to come back. But there's a few in here where they've set their goals pretty high, and I hope they can hit it, but they may not. It's
well. Think about this, Taylor. I'm just want to pat ourselves on the back. I think there's 52 books here, and we're in the top 14 of 52 of these books. So, in the big scheme, it's pretty darn good.
Yes, it is.
And we haven't even finished. So, a lot of these books are already funded and in demand that we're still in competition with. So, we could actually go up the rankings. What do we have? 4 or 5 more days?
Yeah, we have 4 days left.
I'm sorry, Pixel. I'm using your your statistics as a way to compete.
What I was going to tell you too, I think I was on. You guys were on John yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Talking about things. Go in demand. There's no reason not to, especially if your book isn't complete yet. You've got the opportunity to. I mean, I know you have the art done, but you're waiting for the colors.
The art isn't done yet either.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we're about a third of the way done.
Go for it then, because really there's no negative to it aside from the fact that you're just leaving it out there a little bit longer. I mean, you could the thing that you could do to push things right now at least is say that certain perks and stuff will only be available until that cutoff and you go to in demand. And then once you reach in demand, now it's a more basic listing of things that you can get from it. But that's really up to you guys, but I think there's really no negative because the money still comes to you as soon as your campaign ends. Once you go to the store mode, now you're just doing sales and still funding the book. But Mike, for instance, he gained almost $30,000 while he was in demand.
How long has he been in demand at this point?
I don't recall off the top of my head. I think I'd have to actually let me.
Is the average about 30 days? Is that what people keep them in the store for?
30 day. Well, the store goes quite a bit longer. A lot of the campaigns extend out to 60 days. I'm pretty sure Mike did that. I know Red Rooster did that. Let me see here real quick. Sorry, I'm trying to pull some numbers from the back end of the site right now. So.
Oh no, I appreciate it.
Lone Star was pushed out there on August 7th, so it's been out there for quite a while. Let me see. When did the campaign end? Does it say? End date was August 12th. Is that right? Okay. I don't remember if he extended it or if he just went in demand after that 30 days. I can't recall now.
Yeah, I can't either.
But he's been at least up for a month now, right? I mean.
Oh well, yeah. His store's been up at least a month, if not more. I think his store's been up for at least 2 months.
Okay.
August, September, October. So yeah, pretty much. I think half of August, all of September, and now we're into October.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, because I'm writing some of this stuff down because we don't know, and that's another great thing about this community. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you is because we really don't know, how this stuff works. And we're Taylor and I are coming from Kickstarter, and Kickstarter is definitely finite. There's no store. There's none.
It's very different.
Yeah. So one of the ways you work Kickstarter is you definitely sell that it's a limited time. You sell that at this date you can never get this book again. And so we're really geared up that way. The store is a new, it's a new concept that we're trying to wrap our heads around.
Sure. And that's kind of where I was going back to the whole thing with if you end the campaign and you remove some of the perks and things, or maybe once you hit certain goals, like you can't get those extra perks at that point.
So when you mean perks, are you talking about the stretch goals as well, or just like tiers?
I like the tiers. Like certain tiers can disappear once you go into store mode. You have the control to remove certain things.
Do you still honor, like with the new people coming in, do you still honor all those people with the stretch goals as well? Or are the only people that get the stretch goal perks are the ones that funded in the immediate time, before it went in demand?
And that's at your discretion. I would say to be cool about it would be to honor those for anybody that gets in on that, if you have the financial ability to do that.
So I wasn't sure about that. Yeah, I was just say I wasn't sure about that because like I thought that stretch goals were meant to entice people during the course of the campaign to push.
That's exactly it. You want to push people, so it's really kind of a gray area there. And I think some of the campaigns have said, nope, you're only going to get the books now. There's no stretch goals for you for this. But I mean, for instance, like you guys are really close to 30K. I know you're going to cross it. I have almost zero doubt you're going to cross it. I think you may even hit 40.
Oh my gosh! From your lips to the man's ears.
Honestly,
if we did that, I'm telling you right now, Pixel, I would be so excited, and we would definitely be talking. We're going to come up with Black and White 2.
Oh yeah,
without hesitation.
Yeah, it was said in the chat just a second ago too, but what was it? Nick? Yeah, Nick said it. It's an injustice that you guys aren't higher than you are currently.
Well, somebody was saying because of the month because I know September traditionally, as far as entertainment, is not a great month, you know, because it's back to school month. A lot of people are spending, you know, money with their kids and things like that. And then October gets a little bit better, but it's just the fall months aren't ideal, I guess.
It's a combination of things. Plus, you've got a lot of people that
the video game stuff.
The video games, people kind of tapped out a little bit by going hard on the original campaigns, and so funds are a little tighter now.
Yeah,
there's a lot more stuff to choose from as well, so it's a little bit harder to get in there. I will challenge you though. I think you really need to become more vocal and get on with EVS. I know I hate for people to have to rely on him, but let's just discuss the elephant in the room. He has 80,000 viewers that are currently subbed to him right now. You know, that dwarfs pretty much anybody else in the space right now. He is the community at this point. He's the voice for the community. I know he doesn't want to be that necessarily, or he doesn't want to have to shoulder that all the time, but his endorsement and FaceTime with his viewers makes or breaks a campaign.
Yeah. And I want to. I don't have any problem with that. But at the same time, you kind of want to establish yourself as like a strong entity unto yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I have that, and Taylor and I have that strength that we can bring into the community, that's separate from that. But I understand where you're going. And
Agreed. I'm not saying you don't. I would say that it would behoove you to harness what's available to you.
Yeah.
Other people are doing it. There's really no reason why you shouldn't do it, especially being the established pro that you are. You guys have that rapport. You have similar interest in the industry. You've gone through similar situations. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot that you can do for each other. And as you're getting more people involved with this, the other thing too is you can step outside of this community. I know you've started branching out to Instagram, for instance. More promotion over there for your book would be really good. I'm sure. It's just hard. It's hard to reach out to other communities when it's not, you don't really know who to reach out to. And then the pushback for the whole Comicsgate thing. I get that, but definitely because it is such a limited kind of situation, use what you've got available to you.
So what else other than possibly going on Comicsgate Live more often?
Actually, so I went to your website earlier, and I've got a little nitpick I got to give you right now.
Okay.
If you pull up your website, one of the first images I see is Black and White Remastered coming soon to Kickstarter.
Oh, it hasn't been updated.
And it's there and on the Join Our Newsletter page. So, I mean, I'm sure people read through more of your site, but, if somebody was coming in and saying, oh, it still hasn't made its way to Kickstarter yet, darn, and then they leave. If they would have scrolled down a few more lines, they would have seen the wait is over. It's on Indiegogo now.
Well, Pixel, you know what? That's going to be the first thing we do as soon as we get off of this. It's weird because there's so many moving parts, and so there's moving parts that you think that you've dealt with, so you just don't even go back to them and revisit. And then there's all the new stuff that, like the new fires that come up every day. So, but thank you so much. I mean, this is good. Anything that you can bring. I know that we're public and we're the dirty laundry is getting aired here, but I don't mind because this is stuff we definitely need to hear because it really is just the two of us, and we have blinders on, most of the time because it's just the immediate problems that need to be dealt with every day that we don't, go back on things and reevaluate.
Yeah. looking at the way things are right now, I don't know if you guys, it's a little too late for this at this point, but Peter Simeti from Alterna Comics, he has really, really cheap advertising rates. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but he does put ads in his books. If
no,
I
I haven't seen that.
If I were to, and I've been thinking about this quite a bit, if I were to do a book, I would probably buy ad space in his books like a month or two prior to launching the campaign, just to start building some interest in it. I think it's like $100 for a full page ad that runs for an entire month in all his books.
What's his distribution, and do they go out in every one of the books?
I think it's every book that's published for that particular month.
Okay,
that you buy in. So I don't know the numbers exactly. You would have to look into that. But he has a listing of what books it'll wind up in for that particular month that you purchase in. So Fanspeak, for instance, we're running a competition right now to create a logo and mascot for Fanspeak. The winner of that will be chosen, and then they'll have their artwork published in an Alterna comic. We're going to publish their work in a page.
Very cool.
Oh yeah, Dr. Wright says Peter Simeti sold 45,000 books this month.
And that's the whole print run. That's all of his books collected. That did 45.
Is that $45,000 or is it 45,000 books?
It's probably 45,000 print run, I would imagine.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, I believe it goes in all those books for that particular. Well, actually, so these in particular, because they were the special Halloween thing, I think they may already be printed. Future books, though, I don't know for sure. You'd have to ask him what his actual print run is. But I do know that he is, he's in, was it Diamond, I believe? He's distributed to actual stores and stuff. So you have a further reach than you would normally have with just Comicsgate related shows and whatnot.
Right. I will look into that. Because we do have another campaign. We most likely will do the Black and White Volume 2. And so that's a good idea. I also was thinking about running ads, like just to cross-pollinate with the rest of the guys, where we would just trade ads. Because in the old Image days, when we published through Image, we would trade ads with each other in the books. But the only thing about that is when we ship them, I think to get media mail status, you can't have ads in your book. But that would be a way to advertise too. I mean, it would still be the Comicsgate crowd, but it would be like if somebody bought Cyberfrog and you had a black and white ad in it or something like that, or vice versa, then you could possibly be advertising to somebody that didn't know those other books existed.
So here's the thing, though, too, is I wonder how it qualifies for an ad. So, like, let's say that you put a black and white pinup, air quotes here, pinup in somebody's book that just happens to point to a URL or has a mention of a book 2 or something. Doesn't necessarily say it's coming soon or anything like that, but just has that book and a URL for somebody to check out. Does that still qualify as an ad, or is that just a pinup that has extra information on it?
Yeah, because then it'd be more of like a feature than anything.
I think it's an ad when you're advertising. Well, I guess you are advertising actual product, but you're not saying where it's available, and you're not saying it is for sale.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure there's certain rules that you can get around through. So, I mean, I don't know. You might have to look into it and see, but there's got to be ways to skirt it. And I don't want to out Peter too much, but I see ads and he gets media mail rates, so I don't know what's going on there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it depends on the postal, office that you use as well, and how much they want to scrutinize what you're sending, because most of the time they probably don't even ask or check.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
okay.
That's just one of the criteria that they have. But that's a great idea, and I will reach out to Peter Simeti and look into that.
Yeah, he's got pretty much all the information on the website directly.
Oh, okay.
Just in case you can't get him, because I know his email or his DMs are constantly blowing up. I've got in touch with him a couple times about certain things, but it's taken a little bit of time for him to reply back.
How do you feel about like Facebook ads and those type? Have you ever looked into that or?
I've never looked into them. I actually left Facebook, so I have my Messenger set up. I don't have my personal page live anymore. I only communicate through Messenger with my friends, and that's pretty much it. So I don't know. Facebook has become such this this massive it's almost like Twitter in the same way, where people are just constantly fighting over political stuff. I think
Oh yeah.
I think the ads just get lost in the mix. I think you're better probably targeting ads either in something like Twitter or Instagram even. And Instagram, I don't know how big your presence is in Instagram. I haven't really paid too much attention over there
I
lately,
think
but
it's like 34,000 or something like that people.
that's a pretty solid audience that you've got over there. And I don't know how much you're trying to pull them in to get the book or not, but you should definitely push a little bit harder over there too to get them to come over and buy
It's
the
weird,
book.
but I noticed like with Instagram, it seems like they're not as open to ads. Um, the people they mostly want just photographs of your art and
Yeah.
things like that. And text, like anything with a lot of writing in it, they just don't seem to be too interested in. So
Yeah.
it really is just image oriented.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you were to show like pages of the book, and you probably have to take a look at how some other artists are doing it. But there's an artist that I love over there. His name is Ilya. I don't have the last name right now, but he's I believe, a Russian artist that lives in Japan, I believe. Does fantastic work. And I found him through Instagram. I actually bought his book that he did on Kickstarter because
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh my
I'm pretty sure it was
gosh.
Kickstarter. Or
He was at a SDCC this year.
yeah, amazing artist. Really nice guy too, from what I understand. And I found him through Instagram and bought his stuff because I thought it was really cool. So there, if you can get a proper call to action, I don't know exactly how you would want to approach that specifically. Like, just showing more artwork off. Hey, you want to see more like this? Check us out over here. I mean, it can
Yeah,
be
we've been doing a few Instagram live videos as well, showing off the campaign. And if you guys aren't following Art's Instagram, the username is ArtTBear, and it will be in the description for those who aren't following it.
Yeah, and
that's a cool
speaking of
piece.
that, Pixel, here's a preview page. We just got this back yesterday.
Those colors look so good.
Yeah. So there's a couple notes we have. So this is still work in progress, but the third panel, there's a couple notes. So by the time we get this thing, because a lot of this Photoshop stuff, those action lines coming off and the glow, that's all us doing that. It's a crude Photoshop trick that we used. So by the time we get it back from our colorist, it should look a million times better. But it already looks I think it looks pretty amazing. Him leaping through the monitors like that.
That's pretty sweet.
People in the chat are saying Dr. Wright says Facebook ads work, but they mostly work through email and usually work better when you have something to give away for free.
Okay.
And Nick says advertise everywhere, no shame in it.
Yeah, it's just that Facebook ads are a little costly. So the more exposure, well, the more you pay, the more exposure you get. So, you'd probably end up investing at least 500 to 1,000 to get any kind of decent advertising through Facebook.
Yeah, I think you have to invest a lot to really get seen.
Yeah, the deep pockets thing, I'm hoping will come down the line, especially if Pixel Trader was correct. And if we stay in demand and do 40K, then definitely the next black and white will be able to have a little bit more, revenue to invest into advertising. And
yeah.
In Peter's books, as well as maybe Facebook ads. So hey, what do you think, Pixel? Should we put this up on Instagram?
Yeah, unless you want to wait for the final colors, but I know you only got a few more days left before you go to in demand. So, maybe tout it as a sneak peek kind of thing or work in progress or something. Definitely.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody was checking out just before this, but this is the finished drawing that I was working on just a couple minutes ago. So these are the pencils. So after we're done hanging with Pixel, we're going to go back into the studio, Taylor and I, and we're going to finish this bad boy.
That's nice.
Yeah, you guys can see Art draw that live in the video before this one. Don't leave this one to watch it. But...
Don't go into
it. Dr. Wright brings up an interesting point in the chat. He says, who you're wanting to find are younger artists. Those people will be looking up to you, possibly buy your work just to learn research. Call or get in touch with art schools.
Oh.
Well, you mean For future projects, like for
I guess
talent?
so, to advertise future projects. You trying to get the, I don't know, because the thing is, art gets really good numbers on Instagram. Like I think you have a really good following on there, and a lot of them are younger people.
But I was thinking what he meant was like to give younger people a platform on our YouTube. What do you think that? Read that again.
Who you're wanting to find are younger artists. Those people will be looking up to you, possibly buy your work just to learn and research. Call or get in
Oh,
touch
okay.
art school. And he says
Okay.
on Instagram
Well, my
after.
daughter's going to an art school. I'll have her post an ad.
Let's print out some ads and slap it around.
That'd be cool.
You need to get Mandy like running around and kind of touting you guys some more too.
Did you see when she went on and was talking on one of the YouTube
Yeah.
shows? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she's a great kid. Yeah, she's awesome, and she's very talented. If you guys like new talent, check out it's Mandy T Bear or Mandy Motionless.
Mandy Motionless, yeah.
That's my daughter, and she just posted a sketch for a new painting that she's working on, and I think it's probably one of her best compositions yet.
She's very good.
Yeah, I really like it. And what else? Was there anything else you wanted to cover, Pixel?
I could give a quick shout out to something too. There is a fundraiser that Pope Fire is doing. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. The Comics Titans fundraiser. She is helping people that maybe can't afford the Comicsgate books, but still want to be able to read them. For some people that are a little disadvantaged or whatnot and want to be able to read some of these books, she started a fundraiser, but there's a lot of different raffle items available, and she's running that through Facebook. It's I can't remember the address for it right now, but if you look up Comics Titan fundraiser, or Comics Titans, I think it is, there's artwork from a bunch of artists. Gary Shipman's donated some stuff. There's been a couple books that have been donated as raffle prizes, and they're going to do raffle at the end of the month, if I remember correctly. And,
well, I tell you what, I'll donate some stuff. Give me an address where to send it.
Okay.
And I'll put a care package together for her. So I'll put some prints in there and maybe some signed Super Sons books.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely reach out and have her get into. I'll send the information over to you for sure.
That's awesome.
Right on. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now the chat does have one burning question that's been asked. It's a Pixel. Where do you fall on the pizza debate of pineapple on or off pizza?
Oh, pineapple has no place on pizza ever.
Oh my God. I thought I knew you.
Oh man, no. So, okay, I had a girlfriend years ago that loved pineapple, hated ham, and so we would go and get the Hawaiian pizza. I would get all the ham. She would get all the pineapple. Personally, I think I still lost because I had the pineapple flavor on my pizza, but I don't know. But
well,
yeah,
you know, most places will give you a half and half, right? You don't have to get it all like done like that.
Yeah, you know.
But the half was enough to get the flavor on there.
So that was the thing too. She liked the flavor of the ham, but didn't necessarily want to eat the ham. So how am I supposed to say, okay, you can't have half that piece? I don't know. We probably could have worked it out, but.
Well, I was just thinking that you'd have pineapple on one half and then you would have ham on the other half.
That would have been an easier way to handle it, but yeah, we didn't think about it too much apparently.
But there's no peanut butter in my chocolate scenario.
There's no. I brought you together.
Yeah, I don't. You know, when you're just pulling off the ham, but it's like I have some ham, taste here, but I don't have the actual ham on it. Yeah, I understand. It's like when you. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Sierra Whiskey says, "Don't fruit the pizza."
Don't fruit the pizza. Yeah.
I am dead to comic book Bob. That's one of those things. Yeah, I'll have to live with it. Yeah, so I've been doing some artwork and stuff. I'm like I said before, I'm taking a little bit of a break. I'm doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes to help out with FanSpeak and with Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition. But the whole work-life balance thing, I've been kind of focusing on my health more lately. I will be coming back to do more live streams and more drawing and giveaways and stuff like that. So my Twitter and Facebook and everything else may be quiet for a little while, but I am still alive. And if you see postings coming off Indiecron or the DNQFE Twitter accounts, that's me for the most part. So I'm still out there. I'm just taking a little bit of a backseat for a little bit of time to focus on some other stuff. But I really want to get into digital coloring, and so I've been doing a little bit. Like I did your Spider-Man piece, a little bit of justice, not quite enough to be professional, but I thought I did okay with it. And,
no, it was good. Yeah.
I did Cybertug recently, which was kind of fun. But I've got time lapses up on my channel.
So check it out. Check it out.
Very cool. The links for that will be in the description after the video.
So was there anything else you want to talk about before we get our little black and white plug in here?
Go for it, guys. It was great to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no problem. And thanks for all you do for not just black and white, but the community as well. It's greatly appreciated.
Yes, thank you, Pixel. And everybody, make sure to check out Indiecron for more independent Comicsgate related projects.
And watch as black and white, heats up Indiecron in the next couple of days.
I'm hoping for that, man. I want to see it.
That would be so awesome. So Taylor, do you see the image? You know what time this is?
I do. It's time to talk about the 30K giveaway.
Yep, 30K.
So we have a goal set that if we hit 30K, when we hit 30K, by Friday, 2 backers who have pledged in the campaign at the beginning of the campaign to Friday will be entered into a drawing, and one of them is going to receive this original, well, not this one, this is the digital representation of it, but the original art, the Greg Capullo Art T-Bear cover of Black and White. And Art's been hanging on to this piece for a long time. It's never been offered for sale. It means a lot to him. But one of you fans could get it if we reach 30K on Friday. And that's not all, because the runner-up will also receive, there it is. The runner-up's going to receive a piece of original art, which is this one you see on your screen, and that is the splash page to the original series issue 2. This page had to be cut from the remastered version of Black and White due to some changes in writing, but it's a great page. You can see it right here. It's kind of a display piece, and you can have that as a prize when we hit that. It's I'm trying to think of when this is from the 94 series. Issue 2
first page,
splash page. So it's kind of historic as far as Black and White goes. We just had to cut it for writing reasons, and it could totally be yours. So Black and White right now is on Indiegogo. Hit the link in the description to check it out. We are 4 days away from the end of the campaign right now. So don't wait to get your copy. Time is running out. And thank you for supporting us as far as you guys have. Everybody in the chat has been very cool about sharing links. But please keep sharing those links with your friends, your comic book reading friends, and your non-comic book reading friends. This could be somebody's first intro to comics. You never know. So please support Black and White. Be sure to keep track of all the other independent comics projects on Indiecron. And let's get that 30K by Friday.
Definitely. And like Taylor was saying, let me see if I can do this. Go back to Google. There we go. I've held on to those black and white pages for 25 years. I've never made any of the black and white artwork, the original artwork, available as far as selling or even give. I think I gave away the first cover to a close friend, but that's it. So this stuff hasn't even seen the light of day for 25 years. So this is really, really special. And I really do, when I say this in my heart of hearts, I really do want to get those 2 pieces of artwork, the Greg Capullo cover that I did with him, and the first page for issue 2. I really want to get those into black and white fans' hands. I really want them to have it. At this point, I've been working for over 35, close to, I think we're coming in on probably 30 plus years. I don't know if it's 35. I overstated, but over 30. And I just want to get some of these originals into people's hands, because they're just kind of collecting in the T-Bear archives and the T-Bear vault. And I want to get them out. I want to get them into collectors' hands. I want to get them into people that will appreciate the artwork, because right now it's just kind of, they're in envelopes, on shelves. And I want people to appreciate this and have these pieces. So this is my way of giving back to you guys for all the support and the help that you've given to make this dream come true for Taylor and I. Like I said, I've said many times before, this is a 25-year dream in the making. So thank you guys so much. And Pixel, did you have parting? You have anything?
No, go back black and white, please. I want to get that Greg Capullo art.
One last thing to address. Comic Book Bob wanted to know art. He said, the Greg Capullo variant cover, does that come signed as well? And it does come signed. It comes signed by me and Art. And since we hit one of our early stretch goals, Pamela, I think, is going to be signing that as well.
Yeah, that was one of the stretch goal perks, is to get the original co-writer, my wife, involved as well. So she'll be signing all those books as well.
All right. And I think that about does it.
All right. So there was nothing you wanted to add, Pixel?
No, I'm pretty laid back. I don't really have a whole lot going on right now. I'm just trying to get stuff done. I do have a new version of Indiecron that should go up soon. I could actually show it right now, but it's not quite ready, and I would hate to spoil the fun. But
let's wait.
Yeah, sorting is available, so you'll be able to sort campaigns alphabetically, numerically, and a few other things, so you can see just how things are going. And
so Pixel, if you want us, is it Friday? Is that when your next fan speak is?
Friday is the next fan speak. I don't know who we currently have scheduled. I'd have to go talk to Chester about that. But if we got nothing going on, definitely, if you guys want to drop in and say hi, you're more than welcome to. Just one more time, I'll plug Drawn and Quartered tonight, since Denali reminded me. Thank you. It's going to be tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. It'll be over on Jake's channel. I do have links out to stuff. We'll be posting it all over the place as well. But on my channel, I have a playlist for all the previous episodes, regardless of what channel they're on, so you can find them there. As soon as Jake sets up his new show, I'll put a new link to it in there as well. So if you can't find his channel somewhere, I don't have a link to it right now, you'll be able to find it there.
Okay, and send us a link for the Friday show, and we'll see if we have time to pop on.
Okay, definitely. Denali, actually, since he's in chat, well, we can do this offline, but I'll find out who we've got. I don't know if we have anybody scheduled yet.
Oh, is that a Drawn and Quartered, or is that just a hangout?
That's just fan speak. For Drawn and Quartered, if you guys want to come by tonight, I can drop you guys a link for it tonight, more than likely. I can fit one person in for sure. I don't know if I can get two, but
no, I don't think we'd have time tonight. But,
okay.
But definitely Friday. There's a little opening time for us for Friday, so that might be fun.
Okay.
Thank you, Pixel.
Or it will be fun if we can arrange it.
So the Drawn and Quartered shows run every Wednesday at 7 p.m. just for future reference too. We try to use the same time block as Mike. Now Mike's talking about possibly moving it to Wednesdays to accommodate EDS, and so we're going, okay, thanks, Mike. So we may shift to Tuesdays, which will be a little weird because then we won't have a topic that will match, but we'll have to play it by ear.
Okay. So Taylor, do you have the YouTube info, and then we can wrap this one up?
Yes, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications on this channel. Liking the video helps us get more views, and this is not a monetized channel, so maybe consider dropping something in the donations, which are linked in the description. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and thanks for coming on, Pixel.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. See ya.